Alright, welcome back. Okay, now what we're going to do is just the opposite. We're going to convert from standard notation to scientific notation. And to do that, first of all, when we're converting to scientific notation, there's always a decimal right after the first whole number. So we have right after the 4 here would be a decimal. And we will rewrite it as 4.28, and then we would say times 10, and then to determine the exponent here, you need to count how many spaces are between the decimal point here and the end of the number here. And so let's go ahead and just put a line right here at the end here, and a line right here. Now all we have to do is count the numbers that are in between here, and that's going to tell us what is our exponent. And so let's go ahead and do that. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And so that will be 5. So your answer will be 4.28 times 10 to the 5th. And if you got that, great job. Alright, here goes another one. This is example number 2. The same thing we did before. Remember, right after the first digit, we're going to go ahead and have our little decimal point there. Okay, just like the last one, right after the first whole number here, we have a decimal point there. So we're going to go ahead and write this challenge out as, we're going to write it out as 4.782, and we don't write the zeros, but we're going to have to count those spaces. So let's go ahead and do that. We have 4.782 times 10, and then we're going to go ahead and just like I did before, I went on and put a line at the end here, and I'm going to count from this decimal space here how many numbers are in between these two here. Okay, so let's go ahead and count those. Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So we have 4.782 times 10 to the 8, and it is positive 8 because we're going to the right. Remember, if we're going negative, we're going to the left from this decimal point. So this is how we write this in this is how we write this in scientific notation. If you got that correct, give yourself a round of applause. Good job. Okay, go ahead and pause the video. And this is example number 3. Go ahead and do it. Alright, go ahead and pause the video. This is challenge number 3. And we'll see you in a few minutes. Okay, let's go ahead and do example number 3 here. At this one right here, you can notice you have a 0 at the front here, 0.7814. So you know that it says 0.7, you know that it's less than 1. Therefore, it's going to be going in a negative direction here. So you know at the very end, your exponent, the little number, is going to be a negative number. You know that automatically. Now remember what I told you is that when you're doing scientific notation, there's always a decimal has to be right after the first whole number. So actually the decimal, even though the original problem they put the decimal here, well, you're going to have to move it to this place right here. And then you have to rewrite the same way you did before. So we're going to rewrite this as 7.814 times 10 to the, now how many spaces did we move? We moved to the right here, but actually since it's going negative, it's going backwards 1. You move from the negative to the positive here in order to make it a scientific notation. So this is going to be 1 space we moved right here. So that's going to be a negative 1. You got to count from the space right after the whole number, which is right here, to wherever the decimal's at. You have to just count how many spaces. If it was over here, it will be 2 spaces. If it was over here, it will be 3, and it will be a -3. So we only went 1 space, so we made it a -1. Give yourself a round of applause. Great job, great job, great job. All right, that was example number 3. Let's move on to example number 4. All right, for the last challenge here, go ahead and pause the video and solve it, and we'll check your answer in a few minutes. All right, this is our last challenge here. We're going to go ahead and convert this number here that's already in a standard form, and we're going to make it into scientific notation. Okay, remember what I was saying before. In scientific notation, there's always a decimal right after the first whole number, and as you know, right here is our first whole number. Okay, let's go ahead and write that out. We write that out as 1.283 times 10. And remember, the 2 spaces we're looking at is the decimal space here and the decimal space that they give us. And how many numbers are in between those two? Yes, there's 2. And so it's 2 spaces. It's negative since it started with 0.01. So we know that's going to be a -2. And so our final answer will be 1.283 times 10 to the to -2. So if you got that correct, give yourself a round of applause. Great job.